Today's Crafty Spot, and I'm here to share with you my first design team project for Country Craft Creations. And this paper is by Photoplay, and it is called Lucky Charm, and it is using these cute, adorable little gnomes here. And these ones here on the front are from the sticker sheet. My little gnomes that have been captured underneath the shadow box are wooden pieces that paint up amazing. And then it does have a shaker element that I use sequins and seed beads to go ahead and add that. And then we can take a peek at the top. So it's a decor piece with a mini album in it. And the pieces on the top are from the dollar store, and also some are from Michael's. I fussy cut 2 of the stickers on the top to make 2 of my gnomes hanging out inside. And let's stand it up first. So it does stand up. It is a decor piece, so it is hard to see. And I wanted to be able to make sure that you could access the mini album easily. So on the top piece, it actually comes off, and there are magnets in the bottom. So they do magnetize to the top. And this little piece here, that way you can still enjoy a decorative piece with a mini album. And then the mini album comes out from the top. And you can see inside the box, and the side, and then again the fun shaker elements, and then they just can all hide down inside, so you don't really see a lot of them. Alright, and let's take a peek through the mini album. So it is using some of the pretty kind of a lemon yellow color seam binding that I also got from Country Craft Creations for my design team project, or for my design team package rather. So we go ahead and we open up just like this. So I have a little pocket on the side. So one thing real quick, the way I designed this album, because this album is going to be hanging like this in your box. All the pages and stuff that I created for this are designed so while it's hanging, your photo mats and stuff are not going to fall out. So every page design is based on that that reasoning. That way when it's hanging upside down, nothing will fall out. So anyway, we have a nice pocket on the side here, and that will hold up to 4x6 photos. So this one's a 4x6 and this is a 3x5. Over here, the cards were so super cute, so I wanted to make sure that all my little gnomes were kind of being showcased throughout the album. So he's on the front, opens up, have room for a photo mat on the side here, as well as a photo mat at the top, and then a pocket to hold photos. And this can either be held together like this, or you can close it like this, but he needs to be in the spotlight, so he is going that way. And then we flip over here, and this was with using one of the cards that was in part of the cut apart sheet. I don't know if I still have it intact. Nope. So anyway, this opens up, so this is a wider flap. You can go ahead and add pictures. I have a belly band that I created right here, and again this will hold the 4x6 3x5 photos. And then we open up over here, so there's room to go ahead and attach photos there. And again, this flap here will keep all of your stuff tucked inside from your belly band. And then we just go ahead and repeat the pages again. So they open up just like that. And this one's going to go this way so we can see him. So for the center page, I showed you in the videos, you'll see, if you need to add more pages because you have more photos, you can go ahead and create some more. So I'll show you what I did. So over here, I added a pocket to this one. So this flap is just this flap here. So I showed you how you can go ahead and add a pocket there if you wish to do more, have some more loose photo mats. Again, the pocket is this way, so it will not fall out of the book. And then I created an extra photo mat spread here, so you can go ahead and add photos. And I show you, if you needed more space, how to add the extra little page flaps. And then on this one here is the belly band on the front, and then I used one of the cards to kind of embellish the belly band. And again, to put my little gnomes there. And then over here, this little guy with a photo mat there and there, and then our pocket. And then we open up to the last page. So these were two of the cards from the cut apart. So I just kept these two together. I thought they looked cute, and then I added a strip of paper to the bottom. We open up, and then we have our belly band. And then we open up again. And then our back page, again, a nice big pocket for 4x6 photos. And it's also in the directions, so that way it will not fall out when it is closed up. And then to close it, it has just the little tie here again, with using the seam binding. And then you can see nothing falls out. And I do have this bigger piece here is attached to the spine. And as you saw, I was able to open it no problem, and it lays flat. This way it can go in the box. So you can see all my pages still go the direction they need to. Just like that. And then we just tie it back up again. And I show you how to make all of this in the tutorial. And let's go back over to the box. So I used the cute pom-pom ribbon that I got. And I think it looks cute. It adds a nice little element because this right here is kind of too small to actually add any pattern paper. If you wanted to, you could cut some thin strips. However, I thought the cute little pom-pom ribbon was perfect to kind of hide where I stuck down my little shaker element here. You can see that. And then the stickers look super cute on here. I think it just adds to it even more than my captured little gnomes. And then the box. And then this just fits right back down inside, just like that. And this guy gets attached right back on, just like that. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this. The tutorial will be coming out soon. And I would love to see what your ideas are to make a box. You could do, I think I'm going to do one in a baby theme, because my son is, him and his girlfriend are going to be having a baby, so I thought it would be cute if I did little baby blocks and stuff on the top. You can also theme this birthday, specific themes for holidays, Valentine's Day, obviously St. Patrick's Day, Easter. You can have all kinds of fun with these, and then they become super cute little decor pieces too. Halloween, we all know it's my favorite, but super cute. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Hey guys, so you're about to watch the tutorial on how I made this. So follow the cutting guide that's going to be in the description box below, because I've actually designed this while I was recording videos. So I did make some adjustments to the measurements. So don't listen to me when I'm telling you certain measurements in the video itself. The cutting guide down below is going to be what you want. I did, when I was working on this part here, the box itself, I did change some measurements on that. And I can't remember if I did anything on the mini, but just follow the cutting guide down below because that should be correct. Alrighty, so go ahead and enjoy the tutorial. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to part 2 of the video tutorial. Enjoy! So now we're going to go ahead and add some pattern paper to our box. So we don't have to add it to the front side because our little shadow box piece is so big that you're not going to have very much showing on here. So what I'm going to do is actually border it with this adorable little pom-pom trim. But first, let's go ahead and add our pattern paper to our sides in our front, or back rather. So again, just like before, how I like to add my paper. So I cut this, my box is 8.5 by 8.5. I cut it 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and the sides are 3.5 by 8.5. So I cut that at 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. So let me see. I'm gonna line it up. And when it looks good, I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. Now I don't really need full tape coverage on this because nothing's going to be hanging from here, so I'm not worried because these are our sides. Just make sure you pay attention to your direction of your paper. And I did go ahead to the bottom because we don't need to worry about decorating the bottom. I just added a solid piece of black cardstock to the bottom. So now we're going to go ahead and do our sides. Again, making sure we're even. I have to stand up because I can't see. And then the rest of it off. I'll try not to yell because my microphone is right near my face. This is such cute paper. Alright, that little guy is on. Super cute. I don't think I'm going to add anything here, or at least not at the moment. It doesn't really get a whole lot because it's going to be pretty much covered. So I'm not going to worry about that piece. So for this little guy here, I'm thinking I want the pom-poms like right up like that. So I'm going to add, let's see, glue and tape. So let's start off by adding our tape. I'm going as close to the edge as I can get it because I don't have a whole lot of play with my pom-poms, like the width of this. So and again, a bead of glue because I know that that tape's not going to hold those pom-poms on. And stick it on. And then we have like that. So when I'm sticking them on, when I'm pressing here, I can feel the edge of my box. Or my shadow, yeah, my shadow box. So that's why I'm also pressing there, because I want to make sure I get it where it needs to go. And then let's add some more. Again, all the way to the edge. And I need it to round, so okay. Won't be too much overhang there, so we're good. And make sure it looks good before, yep. So if I have to fix it, I can fix it before it dries. That looks so cute. And more tape. And let's go ahead and stick this one down. We're still looking good. And then the last one, oops, tape first. Should work down good. And I think I need a little more glue right there. And we look good. Yep. Yay. And I'm just going to trim that off, but I'm going to keep a couple pom-poms over. And one more off. Remember, cut a little too much, then not enough, because you can't add it back. I think that will look good there. So some glue. This is stuck in. And press that one down. I'm going to let it dry. How cute is that though? And then when it goes on the box, and then this will be like that. So cute. And then we'll have the pattern paper on the front here. Alrighty, so I'm going to let this little guy dry first before I stick them all the way on, and I'll be back. Alright, so I was looking at this and realizing that because of the cardstock and the ribbon, it's got a little bit of a height to the sides here. So when you do go ahead and stick it on your box, if these parts are hitting down, your little piece has got some play in the center here, and that's not good, because if it's not stuck down all the way, you have a tendency to fall off. So remember when we cut out our window for this piece, the chipboard that we had, you're actually going to use that. I'm covering the whole back in tape. I'm also going to add some glue, and I'm just going to stick it to the center here. That way this will give our center part a little bit more height to compensate for our cardstock and our ribbon now. So that way you'll get a nice good stick to it. So I went ahead and added Scor tape all around it. I'm going to take that off, and I'm also going to add glue, because we want to make sure nothing is going to fall off. And you're not going to see it because the pom-poms and stuff are in the way, so it should sit on pretty good, so we won't have to worry about any of that showing. So I'm going to get a lot of glue on here. The tape will keep it held while the glue dries. So you want to be very generous, because you want to make sure it's not going to come off. And you're just going to kind of center it to the space. Those guys are so cute. And then now it'll sit better when it's on our box. It's got a larger area to adhere to, so that will be good, just like that. So now I'm going to let that dry. Alright, so we are ready to go ahead and stick him on. I added score tape all around to the back of that piece we just stuck on. I'm going to add glue to this area as well as a bead of glue along where my ribbon is. And what I did take the top off, because you want to make sure when you are centering this, you are centering this to the space of the box and not the top. So you can see we have that going on. All right, so let's get started. Oops. Why are you not cooperating? There you go. So take the tape off first, because if the tape gives you a hard time, your glue in the meantime is drying. So pay attention to the direction of your box for the top, because you don't want to stick him down upside down, because this will not be easy to get off if you do. So I'm starting on the edge. I'm going kind of quick because this glue also dries very quick. And this is not the time you want your glue bottle to get stuck. All right. I'll flip it over. And pay attention where you are. Chip. When it looks good, stick it down. Be careful how much you're pushing down, because don't forget, your box is hollow. Oh my God, I can't take it. Cuteness overload. Can't wait to figure out what I'm going to put on the front of that. And then again, we just go like this, I'm going to do something fun on the top here. So cute. All right, let's keep going. All right, so I went ahead and cut one more piece that was 3.5 by 8.5, and I added tape. We're going to wrap this just like we did the other cover. However, I am designing this kind of along while I'm making it, so that's why I'm kind of jumping off my thing. So I cut another piece that's going to sit on top of here like this. So it's going to be a separate piece because I want to make this a decor piece and I want to put some fun stuff on the top. However, when you take this out, you do need it to set flat because it is your album, so you want it to sit flat. So what I'm going to do is cut another piece, the exact size. It's going to go on the top and it's going to be held on by magnets so it can stay in place. And then you can go ahead and add some fun stuff to the top. And then when you want, you can just take them, pull it off because of the magnets, but the magnets will keep it there. And then you can go ahead and use your album. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this piece just like we did on those others. So I've already added my score tape all the way around. And I'm going to throw it in here. Get my spacers. And then stick this one down. We'll put the magnets on before we add pattern paper. So just like that. Stuff down, and now we can trim it. Where's my knife? And you can do this for any theme, any holiday, you can make it a little birthday box. You can decorate it like a present and do the same thing. There is endless possibilities to go ahead and do things for this little box. And say you do it a birthday, you could just make the photos inside the box just for the birthday because it's not going to hold a whole lot of photos, but it can hold a whole lot of special photos for like a special event or something. Valentine's Day, you can make it all Valentine's Day themed. Easter, you could do a cute little Easter scene on the top. Christmas. If you wanted to, you could even get away with adding lights inside the shadow box. So if you wanted to add lights to it, what you could do is, before this is all attached, pop holes up through here. You could actually almost string the lights underneath, hiding so you won't see the lights, but when you turn a button on, you can see the lights. And you can always hide the box inside here. You can either put a hole in it so there's a switch on the outside. You can leave the box inside so you can pull the album out, turn it on, and stick it back down. That would be cute, especially for Christmas or something. I actually was thinking of doing the lights, but I decided not to right now, but I might make another version down the road and show you how to add lights to that. You can add lights just to the top part because, like I said, it's going to be on magnets. So maybe I'll add some lights to that. It depends what I can find for St. Patrick's Day embellishments to go on the top of that. And then you can just hide the battery box right inside everything else. I like to add sound effects and lights sometimes to my stuff. And this one. Okay. And then I'm going to stick it down. This is probably going to be in, I was thinking 2 parts, but thinking it's going to have to be 3 parts right now. And don't worry, you won't have to wait for all 3 parts because I'll just post all 3 at once. Or depending on time, I might do 1 every day. Because with my new computer system, it's a higher quality video that it's able to record now, which also means it's a lot longer processing time. And that goes for uploads and editing and stuff. Because it definitely takes a while now. Alright, so let's go ahead. Let me find my magnets. Alright, so now what we're going to do, this is all wrapped up. I've added 4 magnets to the top, and I also have some little metal discs. I was going to do magnet to magnet, but the height of my magnets that I'm using here are very thick. So you can see them. These are just ones I had in my stash, but they're a little too thick. So you can see how thick these guys are. So when I put it on, you can see that there's quite a bit of height, and I don't really want to have the height on there. So I'm hoping that I'll be strong enough with these little metal discs, so those will work. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and stick 1 on each. And I'm going to take my box. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to stamp an imprint right here. So then my magnets will be held down right there. So to do that, oops, just going to use a little bead of glue, and I'm going to put it on each one of my discs. And this is just to show me where they're going to stick. So I'm going to take this and the box. Now, again, I'm using my fingers to make sure I'm even. So I'm feeling the sides, the tops, and making sure I'm squared off. And press that down. So I look like I'm pretty even. So I can take this off. One of my magnets stuck. I mean, just stuck. So those are going to go right there. Perfect. And then I will just actually hold them down right now with some tape. Seeing how they played all nice. And then this just goes right on top. I feel like because I put them all in the middle, they are rocking. But they are strong. Alright, let me go ahead. I'm going to add a couple more just because I did put them in the center. Next time I probably should have not done them all in the center. So let's just go ahead and stick those guys down. I'll do 4 more. Probably a little overkill. However, I want to sit flat. You can see the positive and the negative. It's making it slide. Hopefully that doesn't affect it. Let's see, do I sit flat or no? yeah, I don't rock, so let's add some more. That one's bent. So oops. Let's do it again. It's really sticking. Yay! Where's my tape? Again, it's probably magnet overkill. Seeing how, move that one a little bit. Seeing how I could have not had to done so many. So it still has a little lip there. However, if I did magnet to magnet, it would be even more. So alrighty, cute. All right, so we're done with that part. So now if you don't want to add decorations or anything to the top, you do not have to go ahead and do this part. However, I wanted to make it a decor piece. Therefore, I want to be able to take this part off. So it actually pulls out the whole album. You can see that there. And then when you want, you just take this part off. That would have your decorations on it and do it that way. Super cute. I'm wondering if I should build up some chipboard. Nah, I think we're good. All right, I shall be back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add some pattern paper to the back side of my spine right here. So I went ahead and cut out a piece that is 3 1/4 by 8 1/4, so it'll fit around with a nice little border there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all the tape around my discs. And then I'm going to go ahead and reinforce it with glue. Again, in case the tape lifts, my discs won't move, because this is going to get some play because you have the top piece that's going to be removable. So you do want to make sure that it's not going to come off. Try not to get glue on those because you don't want the you want to keep it as clean as you can with the tight fit with the magnets to disc. So this one, I'm just gonna have to go for it. I have too much going on the top to try to line it up, so let's just hope we get it. We got it. Okay. And make sure it's all good and attached. And then this is this piece. And it's pretty strong. I don't know if it makes a difference. Let's see, which one is the front? Those in the further. So it goes like this. I don't think it matters actually, because they're pretty even. But definitely this is the front. Oops. So what I'm going to do, just so I know my front from my back, and I can erase it later, take a pencil, and I'm just going to put a mark on the very edge there, the very edge there. Actually, I can't even see them. Oh, I can see them that way. That way I know front to back. Cool. I'm trying to figure out maybe if I don't know. We'll figure out what we're doing. So I think I want to add some pattern paper to that too. So I'm going to cut another piece. All right, so I went ahead and cut out another piece, 3 1/4 by 8 1/4, because that's going to go right there. This one's going to be a little more complicated to stick down because of the magnets, because they are raised up quite a bit. So it will need a little more help. So this piece, I'm definitely going to be adding glue. Careful on the ones that are closest to the edge, because you don't want the glue going over too far. All right. And again, this one as well, I just have to go for it. Get on there. Good. You definitely want tape on the edges, because that's what's going to help keep it down. Alrighty, there's my front. Cool. And it's not up too high. If I did do the extra magnets there, it definitely would have been too high. So it's not too high that it's not noticeable, but it's not too high where it looks weird either. And you can see where my magnets are under here, but you're not actually gonna, it's not a usable portion, it's just holding the box together. Alright. Alright, so the only thing left we're going to do on this part is, this is my top piece. I went ahead and cut out 3 1/4 by 8 1/4 for my pattern piece that will go on top of my box right here. This one you do want to make sure you have full tape coverage, because if you're going to be putting some little goodies on the top, you don't want your paper again to be lifting on anything. So I went ahead and added my tape. I'm going to make sure that I'm even. And that's stuck down. And we're almost done for this part. I have my heater running right now because my room is cold, so I need it to warm up again before I keep going. Sorry if it is aggravating or you hear the noise. I am freezing, so I have to have my furnace looked at, but they're not coming until next week because it won't warm up my house, so I think I just need a cleaning, but I am freezing cold. So anyway, that goes on just like that now. So cute. All right, moving along. All right, so now before we go ahead and start decorating the inside, we need to do the covers, because once we start adding our pages and stuff, it's going to be harder to go ahead and add this part. And I'm also going to be doing a closure with this pretty seam binding. So this is kind of like a light yellow. That might show it the best. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add this first before I add my paper. So what I like to do when I add this, some seam binding, I like to have it in the middle. So seeing how I am 7 inches wide, 3.5 from my center point is my middle. So I'm going to just make a couple little marks right there, and then on the other side I'm going to do the same thing. Like that. That way I know I have enough. I'll have my ribbon closure where I need it. So I'm going to go with, I like to do a little more than not enough, because I can always trim it, and as you know, you cannot add. So this will be one side, and then go ahead and do the other side. And then what I like to do is I will add some tape right in the middle. And that's where I'm going to go ahead and add my seam binding. So the first piece. Just like that. I went ahead already and I cut out my pages that I'm going to use. So I'm using these. These are very pretty, and I figure it's a nice play on that, and then it also looks pretty there. So I already added my tape, and of course we know how I like to add this. So, and it's non-directional, so you're not going to be upside down or nothing. So I'm going to set that right over the top. I've already inked my edges. And my paper's cut at 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. And over here, and one thing I do want to do is just add a little bit of glue to my ribbon underneath, just in case the tape comes loose. So I'm going to first remove my tape. And then just add a little bit. Just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Right there. And then again, oops, I didn't put one in the middle. And then this one. This color combination right there looks so pretty. And then the same thing. And then put that down. And there we go. Super cute. So now we don't have to worry about decorating the front parts, because once we get the paper and the pages and stuff, it'll be harder to do. So at least this way we shall be good. And then you just have your tie closure. That way when it is all together, we have it closed up and you don't have to worry about anything falling out. And we do our pages too. We will make them so then that way if the book is hanging upside down, you're not going to lose stuff at the bottom. So we'll make sure that we have it hanging perfect. All right. So we're going to go ahead and create the window portion on here. So this is what I chose. So remember, our shadow box front is 8 by 8. So I cut my pattern paper at 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. And we're going to flip it over to the back because we need to make our window. And that window, we're going to go in 3/4 of an inch all the way around. And my backside is dark here, so probably not the best choice of paper because it will be hard to see, but I like the front. And I just want to get this done here because I want to make sure that all of my choices for the box itself are already picked out. And then that way I won't accidentally cut something that I wanted to use on the box. Alright, so you can kind of see my lines, maybe not. Anyway, now I'm going to go ahead and trim that out. So again, I'm going to come all the way over here. Now because I am cutting my pattern paper, I do want to be careful of not overcutting because this you will see. So and I'm not going to attach this right now. I just want to make sure I cut it out. And I will attach it after I figure out what I'm doing inside with my gnomes. But like I said, I want to make sure that all of my paper choices for the outside of the box are done, and then I can just cut out whatever I want with the paper. And I'm almost done. Again, I'm using my lines on the bottom of my ruler here, the black lines, to line up against my pattern paper. So that way I do get a nice squared off piece. And there we go. So I'll save that because I'm sure I can use that piece. So now if I take my box and I put it on, look how cute that is. Super cute. Love it. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink up the inside here, and I will probably wait to do the acetate just before I go to put it on, only because I don't want to worry about the acetate getting scratched in the meantime before I go ahead and put it down there permanently. But anyway, that's how cute it is. So now what I'm going to do is, I have a lot of the chipboard showing, and because of my binding system, I want to go ahead and cover all this over so it has kind of a nice clean look to it. So I cut out a piece. This is 12 by 7 because my pages are 7, and it's actually kind of just a smidge away from 7 inches. So I went ahead and added score tape all to it, and I'm going to set it down now. And what I did was over here, the way I like to adhere my stuff when I have tape on it is I like to pull one side off and then stick it down and move the rest. So because I have the tape going like the longer direction, I just did it on one end, and I feel like I need to trim that just a tad more. Actually, I decided I'm not going to trim it. I'm just going to go with it. So anyway, this is the side I'm going to take off to adhere down, and then I'll pull the rest of this up. So get it started up a little bit. And then we can stick all that down. So I'm making sure I have no overhang, and I'm just feeling it. I think that's probably good, so I'm going to go for it. Let's see, how do we look? I think it looks good. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel the rest of this off. And I'm not going to stick it just yet because I want to try to crease the pages as I go. So I can and then hopefully that will give it a nice finished off look. And then let's do this side. And most of this will be covered over anyway, so you're not going to see it. I just wanted to have a nice clean look where my pages were going to be. So just slowly kind of get those little fibers broken up. Although you're not going to have your book closing this much because you're going to have pages in it, but alrighty. So I think that looks much cleaner. Nice clean look. So now we're going to work on the binding and some pages. So let's figure out what we're going to do there. So we are going to work on the binding system. So the binding system, you're going to cut one piece at 5.5 by 6.5. And then on the scoreboard, putting the 5.5 inch at the top, we're going to go ahead and score it 3/4, 1.5, 2, 2 3/4, 3.5, 4, and 4 3/4. So let's go ahead and get that scored up. So 3/4, 1 1/2, 2, 2 3/4, 3 1/2, 4, and at 4 3/4. So this is what we're going to have. And I like to go ahead and fold. Now I'm going to fold back and forth on all of my lines. What I like to do too when I'm scoring and folding, I'm making sure I'm squared off at the bottom and at the top. That way I know I will have an even binding system. And if I have to, I will make sure that I'll pull it a certain way just to make sure it is squared off. So right here you can see, how well you can see it, but if I hold it up, you can see I'm not even. So what I'm going to do is make it even. And I just kind of score it down easy at first, just to make sure I can get it to go where it needs to go. And just like that. If you cut your paper crooked too, it will obviously not line up right. And then this is also where if, okay. So anyway, I folded it all one way and I'm going to flip it over, and I like to fold it all the opposite way. And this is where to, like, if you are folding it and you realize like you're just very crooked, you might have cut your paper crooked. So that's where I would like probably take and cut a new piece of paper. We're almost done. So this will be a 3-page binding system that we're doing. Alright, so now I can go ahead and add some tape. So I did, when I was making sure I was getting the right measurements, I got some pencil lines on here. You can kind of see them. So those are going to be on the inside, so I don't want to see those. So now I'm going to take some score tape. You can also use glue. We're going to stick these down together. So one on one end, I'm going to flip it, put one on the other end, and then in the middle, like if you fold these in half, literally the middle, take one of the sides and put tape on it. So that's the easy way right now of knowing how to put your tape on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one side here, and I'm just going to fold it over, just like that. And then I'm going to take this side, same thing, fold it over. So now this is what we have. And then I just have this one here, so I'm going to remove this and just fold it in half. And that's what we have right there. And if you take it and you move it all up, you now have 3 pages for your binding system. Pretty easy, huh? Kind of worked out good. And then now we can just go ahead and add it to our book. It's going to go right here. But one thing I want to do real quick before I go ahead and do that, what I like to do is when I put my pages on, these binding strips here are 3/4 of an inch, and I don't like to go down all the way down to the bottom here. So what I like to do is go ahead and mark them at a 1/2 inch down. So what I do is I'm lining it up on my grid here, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark a 1/2 inch down. So if I open it back up, so this is the bottom here that's going to get attached to my book. And then our pages here, I'm going from a 1/2 inch from here back, so to the bottom, because when I attach my page, I want to leave about 1/4 inch on it. It just makes it easier. But if you do it now, it's easier to make the marks. So I'm just going to run through that real quick. And then if you want to, so you have each side. I do it on all the sides, even though when I do attach my pages, I just really am lining up just one. But because I don't know always which side I'm attaching my pages, I just do it all the way around. All right, so again, let me show you. So this is our binding system. So it's the 3 pages. And then this part here, the flat part, is getting attached to our book. And then this part here is where our pages get attached. And we're going from 1/2 inch from this edge back, or 1/4 inch from the bottom to the here. So another thing I want to do real quick is I want to add some tape to it, because it's easier to add the tape now than when it's in the book. So I'm using 3/8 inch tape, or if you prefer, you can just go ahead and glue it down. So I'm going to add it to both sides. And we're actually really not too far from being done making the book. Just got to make the pages. I've already designed the pages, so I just have to show you how to make the pages. Alright, so let me show you again. So now we are back at this. And the one thing I like to do now too is I just want to lightly trim my hinges. So I'm only going down to where the score tape is, not to my 1/2 inch mark. Just in case our pages are not quite as long. This way you can get rid of any excess. So it's not like your pages aren't sticking out behind the binding. Alright, so I went ahead and did that. So I just trimmed them off. I didn't go to the 1/2 inch, I just went from the score tape. And now our book. So now we have our binding system all made, and we're just going to go ahead and stick it in the book. So this binding system here is 6.5 inches, and my book is 7. So I'm basically want to come up just 1/4 inch off the bottom. Just like that. And I also like to find my center. So that is also going to be at, so it's a 2-inch spine, so it's 1 inch. So I have it on the 5 and the 7, or on the 2 1s down here. And I'm just going to find the center. And then up here, find the center. And then the easy part about this is it is only 3 hinges, so your center one is going to line up right there. So if I go ahead and set it down to test it, that's exactly where I want it to go. So I'm going to add some tape, and I'm also going to add some glue. I'm adding tape down the center. And then I'm going to add a strip of glue on each side here and here. Now, if your binding pages overhang here, you might want to trim them up, but mine looks good, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to get my glue. And let's get the tape off. And add some glue on the sides. And now we're going to stick it down. So again, finding my center. So right there. And that looks good to me. Get rid of any glue that might stick out. And then while you're waiting for the glue to dry, just kind of keep working your hinges back and forth. And then that way, for the most part, it should stay nice and flat. And then you can see how clean that looks. All right, so we will get started on our pages next. So now we're going to go ahead and create the pages. So let me just walk you through what the page will look like that we're doing. So you have the top flap, which would be like a portrait page. I'm actually calling it a portrait. And then you have a small little square frame on the side, as well as a pocket here. And then your page flips over. And on this side here, you have a square 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 size flap. You also have a belly band here, and then you open it up and you have room for photos. All right, so let me close that up and we'll get started. So let me give you the first part. So we're going to take it one step at a time. So this is the page. So this is what you're starting off. So you're going to need to cut one at 6 1/2 by 5. And then one at 4 1/4 by 6 3/4, 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, and 2 1/2 by 7. And that's what you're going to need to go ahead and just create the front part, and then I'll go ahead and walk you through it. So our base page itself is the larger piece, that's 6 1/2 by 12, and this one's so easy. You literally are just going to fold it over. And then go ahead and give it a burnish, and that's what we have. So when we attach it to our binding system is going to go here, and our page is going to get attached. Now if you want to, I'm not going to seal this up yet, but you can go ahead and leave the top open as a pocket if you want, and that would be super cute to add stuff to pull out. So depending on if you need more photos or not, you can always use that as a pocket. So now we're going to move on to my portrait piece, which is right here. And we are going to score this one at 1/2 inch. So you're putting it in your scoreboard at the 6 3/4 and score it at 1/2 inch. And that will give you a photo mat that is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and add our tape, or glue if you prefer glue. And this one I'm going to fold this way so I cannot see my tape. So this is what you have. You're going to fold it over. You're going to take your page. So what we're working on is open it up so you don't stick it. So we're working on the front part. So you can either off center it, whatever you want. So I'm going to put it right there, and I just like to open it because I want to make sure I am up nice and tight. and then just go ahead and push it down. And then that's what we have right here for that part. Then we're going to move on to our square piece, and this one is 4 1/4 by 4 3/4. And we're going to score this one on the 4 3/4 at 1/2 inch because we are making a little square pocket. A square flap. And then why don't we just go ahead and cut out our bottom pocket, which is 2 1/2 by 7. And you're going to put it in with the 7 at the top, score it 1/2 inch on each end, so it's 1/2 and 6 1/2. Rotate it onto the 2 1/2 and score at 1/2 inch. You want to attach the square flap first because it's going to be longer than the pocket. And so this one here, I'm going to go ahead and fold it over. I want to see the tape this time because this is going to the outside here, so we're not overlapping it because this is the inside. So this is going to go right here, and I'm just centering it. Just like that. And then we're going to do our pocket, so leave it open. And I'm going to tape on all 3 sides. And then we're going to trim it. So right here, here is the bottom. We have a little X mark right here. So we're just going to chop it through the X on both sides. And then we're going to take our pocket and we're just going to trim off little corners. Just a little bit, nothing big. And now we're going to fold it all up to make our pocket. When you do fold it, you want to make sure that these are not overlapping. If they do, you go ahead and trim them a little bit more. So you see we're good. And I can go ahead and burnish it down nice and flat. And now this is going to go on the bottom. Remember, our opening is on this side. And I'm just turning it because it's easier. And this is going to go all the way to the bottom and side to side, so it should fit perfect if you cut it right. And there we go. So then you have this flap that comes over and this one that comes down. And then now we flip it over and we're going to cut out our pieces for this. So for the back of our page, this is the back. You're going to need one at 6 1/2 by 4 1/4, and this is going to be the large flap or the extra page that we're adding. And we're going to score on 6 1/2 inch at 5. Then our medium flap is going to be 5 1/2 by 6 1/2, and we're going to score on 6 1/2 at 1/2 inch. And we're creating a belly band too, so you're going to need one piece at 2 by 7. And you're going to score on the 7 inch side at 1/2 inch and 6 1/2. Alright, so I went ahead and cut out my pieces, and we'll just score them all at once. So my largest piece, which is 6 1/2 by 6 1/4, you're going to score on the 6 1/2 inch side. No, I'm sorry, you're going to score on the oops. You're going to score on the 6 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. Alright, so 6 1/4 at 1/2 inch. I knew that didn't look right. And then on our 5 1/2 by 6 1/2, we are going to score on the hold on, bear with me. Yeah, that's right. Alright, so on the 6 1/2 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. And then our belly band, half inch on each end. Alright, so we are going to start off with our extra page, or our larger flap. Adding my score tape. This one, again, I'm going to fold it inward. And we're going to take our base page now. So again, this is the front. We're going to flip it over, and then this is going to go on here. So if you want, you can just open this up, and then this, go ahead and kind of angle the corners a little bit. So this is the front. We're going to flip it over and open it up right now. And then this piece here is going to get attached here like this, and I'm just going to flip it over and make sure I'm even, and I'm going to stick it down. And if I flip it back over now and close it up, we're going to go like this and open up, and I have a page right here. So then the next thing we need to do is we're going to go ahead and add our medium flap to the side here. So what happens when this is closed, you have a gap here, and then this page is going to keep that one closed. So let's add some tape. And this one we're going to fold so we can see the tape. So right here, open up your flap you just attached. This is the one with the tape here. Go ahead and set it down on top. And hold it, and then we can go ahead and stick it down. So when you close it up like this, and it seals in. So now we open up this smaller flap. We're going to add our belly band. Go ahead and fold those down. Give it a burnish. And then take your page to the extra flap you attached. I didn't cut that right. Oh, it's supposed to be 7.5. Oops. Hold that thought. Let me recut that. So then you're going to be cutting on this, scoring on the 7. Okay, correct piece. 7.5 by 7. So I'm going to just center it. Again, this is going on the flap. Just like that. So anyway, let's walk it through. You need to make 3 of these in total. The cutting guide that I gave you is per page, so you'll have to cut that 3 times. So this part here will be attached in our binding system. So you have the flap that comes up and over in our pocket. So these 2 flaps here will keep everything in the pocket from falling out. And you can do it this way, or you can do it this way. So depending on how you decorate it, might be cute like that. Then your page flips over. You have the larger pocket this way, the belly band, so this flap will keep the stuff in here. You can always add pockets if you want in here, or you can even go ahead and add more pages. So just cut this piece here a couple more times. You can just accordion style it on there, and then like this. So basically the way this page was designed is that when it's in the book, because don't forget now your book is going to hang upside down. So the way all of these flaps and stuff are created, they're created so nothing is going to fall out while your book is hanging there. So like this flap and then the back flap is what's keeping everything contained from falling out. All right, so you want to create 3 of those. All right. Alright, so I just want to give you some other options and stuff you could do when you're making your page. So I wouldn't go too crazy adding too much extra stuff until you start decorating it, because you don't want to make your pages fuller than they should be, because you'll end up with alligator mouth. Even though we have a string closure, it doesn't really matter. You still have to consider the hole in the top of the box to get the book through. So you don't want it too big, because it either won't fit or you're going to have a hard time pulling it out. So anyway, so I did just a little extra. I made a pocket at 5.5 by 6.5 and scored 2.5 by scored on the 2.5 at 1/2 inch, and then 6.5 at 5 and 6. And then I just created another flap, what I was talking about, but you can always add more. So I just created another one at 6.5 by 6.25 and scoring 6.25 at 1/2 inch. So my extra flap, I'm going to trim that up, as well as cut my pocket out. And I'm going to add these on my middle page, so the second page is where I'm going to put this. So if we take our page and the front, flip it over to the back, I made a pocket to go on the flap. So again, put it on this side of it, because when the book is closed, nothing will fall out. So made my pocket. The seal side is going over here. And then we'll stick it down. So that's a little extra pocket right there where you can add more photo mats. So then on this page here, I'm going to go ahead and fold where you can't see the tape. So I'm folding it down, and I'm going to stick it on right here. So this is the belly band, and I'm sticking the tape down to the side that is the belly band, making sure it's all even, and stick it down. So now you can have more pages should you need to go ahead and open that up. Alright, so just so you know, I did have to trim off a little bit off of the extra flap because it was sticking in where my binding is. So I just trimmed off a smidge off of it, so it will stay flat now. But if you want to, it doesn't always have to tuck that way. You can also tuck it this way and then have your flap come over just like that. So it all depends on what you want to do. Alright, so we can go ahead and add our pages. So I'm going to start off with the back page and making sure, okay, this is the one I want. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to go ahead and put it on, and I'm lining up my page to those little marks that we made. That's down to 1/4 inch. So I'm lining it up to here. I'm going to make sure that I have my correct spacing. And just in case I didn't make my little marks exactly at the 1/2 inch mark on those, I'm going to eyeball it and make sure that I am squared up. So when I know I'm good, I'm going to hold it all down. And how I like to do it, as you know, pull it out and then make sure I'm lined up. So that looks good to me. So now I can go ahead and open this up and stick this side down, walk it over. That way you don't get any bubbles or like your paper in the wrong shape. And then the second one, this one I'm going to do with those extra pages. So again, to my hinge, I'm going to set it on, line it up to my marks, and then I'm pressing down a little bit, making sure I'm lined up even here, and stick it down. And open and stick it. And this is also where you don't want to put the score tape all the way down to the line, just in case it does not line up correctly. And then my last page. So because my book lays flatter, I'm going to do it the backwards. So I'm going to put it on and then line it up and eyeball it to make sure I look good. You can do it the other way. However, I'm pretty confident I will line up. And then just run it this way to test it. Looks good. And I can go ahead and put this side down now. Alrighty, so that's how we have our pages. So as you can see now, when the book hangs, you'll notice that all of your stuff, that whatever you put in for pockets and stuff, is all going to stay sealed up nice. And it opens like that. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I have matted all of my pages, and I will walk you through that in a minute, but what we're going to work on is the inside front cover. So what I did was, this is the back cover, so I just covered the whole thing with a piece of cardstock, and I cut it the full size of the cover, so it is 6 3/4 by 6 3/4, and I'm adding a pocket. So remember that your book, when it hangs, is going to hang upside down. So I put the pocket on the side, so that way when it's hanging, nothing's going to fall out. And we're going to do this side. So I've cut a piece at 7.5 by 3.5, and I scored at a 1/2 inch on each end. So 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here, and then a 1/2 inch at the bottom. And I added score tape, and I'm just going to trim off my corners. And I just do the tops just a little bit. And now we're going to fold all those down. And give it a good burnish. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that when the book is open, the pocket lines up to my pages. So this one does. So I want to do the same thing on this side. So what I'm going to do is put my pages down, and I'm going to go ahead and set this in, and I'm making sure I am lining up the same, because it is the same height as the pages, and then I'm going to make sure I'm even there. And stick it down. And we have that, and then I've already cut my pattern paper and added tape, and it is just a 1/4 inch smaller than my area of my pocket. So just like that. And stick this one down. Oops. And there we go. So now you have the 2 pockets on both ends, and then it matches all the paper nicely. So let me give you a quick walkthrough of how I have matted my pages. So this way, if you want to do it the same, you can follow along. So my little, right here, so little photo mats. I didn't want to waste all of my pattern paper, and I know certain areas are for photos. So I went ahead and added white cardstock to those areas. And then of course my pocket down here. I'll add more photo mats and stuff later. And then over here opens up my belly band. And then it opens up here for some more photos. Come over to this page. I have this one. I use the cards on the front because the cards are so cute. Open up, and then pocket. And then this one here has the extra pocket. So it has the extra pocket over here. And then the belly band, and I added one of the cards to my belly band. And then it opens up with the extra pages for a photo layout. And then this cute little guy. And then over here, I kept two of the cut apart cards together because I thought they looked cute. So I went ahead and left those together and then just added a small strip to the bottom. And then belly band, photos, and then the back pocket. All right, so now we are actually almost done. We're just going to work on the front of the box to go ahead and add our shaker elements to it. All right, so I have my frame that's going to go around the front of my box right here. So this is going to go here, and I have cut a piece of acetate that is 7 by 7, so it's going to fit right on here. So what I did was I went ahead and I taped around the inside of my box or my frame and the outside of the acetate. That way I know when I put it down, I will have nice tape coverage. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do this the way I do everything else. I'm going to line it up and it looks good right there. So I'm going to start by pulling off this piece and I'm going to pull this side off. Make sure they're pressed down, and then now I will just go ahead and remove the tape from everything else. All right, and just let it go down like that. And now I'm just going to burnish down. Make sure it's good and stuck. And that's what I have right now. And then that is going to go on here. But first we need to add our shaker elements. All right, so for my shaker elements, I went ahead and picked up some gold and green sequins at Michael's. And then when I was at Walmart today, they had these little seed beads, and I thought that these would be perfect because they're going to roll around nice inside inside the box. So get this opened up. I'm afraid they're going to go everywhere. Hold on, let me pause and I'll come. All right, I got it open. And let's see. I'm actually probably going to dump quite a few of these in here, so because they're definitely gonna plenty of room. All right, there's that. And there's that. And then I want to use some sequins, so I think I'm going to use the bigger sequins, maybe. And maybe I'll use the smaller ones too. I'm hoping they won't be too staticky. And these are little. And I'm going to throw in some gold ones because I want the gold ones to look like they're gold coins. Oops. And I guess I'll also use the smaller ones. It's kind of cute. Alright, and there's that. So now all I need to do is I'm going to add some tape to the back of my frame. Alright, so here's my frame, and I have gone ahead and added tape to the entire back side of it. And we're going to go ahead and stick this on. So, going to line it up. And so real quick, you want to make sure that you do put as much tape coverage along your frame as you can, because you don't want anything to kind of get out from underneath and underneath that in your shaker part. So that looks good. So I'm going to stick one side down. And the rest. That's so cute. And, oh, that's so much fun. Yay! And I think we're about done with everything on the box. Super cute! So then from the sticker sheet, I just added these cute little guys down here, and then little leprechauns. And then all of our little shakers still shake. Alright guys, well that wraps up the second video tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!